here today, Dr. Ann, to talk about limits, choices, and natural consequences in parenting. This was a challenging concept for me, but it will make your life way easier as a parent. The idea is, instead of saying no so many times, try and say yes as much as possible, and then think about life and natural consequences as a way of helping steer and guide your child. So let me just define natural consequences first. The idea is that there are results that happen for us in life, like I stay up all night, guess what, I'm tired. So the next day I don't function as well. I might not be able to complete a task, I might not be able to take a test very well. So that would be a natural consequence of my behavior. As parents, often we interrupt natural consequences and try and impose things on our children from what we've learned. That's not all bad, but when we get in that method of just trying to control things all the time, we become what is called a helicopter parent, which can be super controlling. And what research has shown is that the best kind of parenting is actually authoritative, not authoritarian parenting. So authoritative parenting is more guiding and giving direction to a child, but increasing their choices and letting natural consequences teach them things in life, and then being an ally to your child versus being a sergeant, a drill sergeant that tells your child what to do. And especially as you're going through stages of development, that might be appropriate for a younger child who's sticking their finger in a socket, but for a teenager who is making their own choices about sleep and when to study, the idea of empowering them is really, really important. So what I would just say on natural consequences is say yes as much as you can, limit your no's to things that are dangerous, that you feel are going to have long-term destructive habits for your child, or disrespect, places of disrespect. That's where you would start to set limits that are not natural. But natural consequences would be things that you let ride. You don't control everything. And here's a few areas that research says are important. For instance, trouble at school. If your child's having some trouble at school, maybe they need to learn to negotiate with the teacher, or let the rules of the school come and give them the natural consequences versus you rushing down there as a parent and trying to interject everything or tell your child at home what to do. Maybe responsibility for personal space and belongings. There were days in my parenting life when I would just shut the door because it was like too much of a fight to get my children to clean their room. And one of the natural consequences was, guess what? If you get out of bed and you step on a Lego and you hurt your foot, that's a natural consequence for not cleaning up your room. You may also say, well, once in a while we're going to have chores, family chores, and a chart, and the natural consequence of not doing those chores or cleaning your room would be that you lose your allowance or that you don't get to go on a family outing with us. So those would also be natural consequences. And then the whole idea of anything outside the home that's not under your jurisdiction as a parent, like at someone else's home or at school or under your teenagers driving fast and they get a speeding ticket. That's a natural consequence for their behavior. And to step back from that and let children learn from that is actually very much God's way of teaching us, is that we get to learn how society operates and how things impact us rather than parenting to protect our child or make everything good for them. We let them learn from things that happen and grow and make choices as a result of that.